Hi. Well, this is not the usual video that I usually do, like guided meditation, or there's no one here. I'm about to do a group soon, but there's no one here. So this is along the lines of what Scott Kilby would call an expression video, just sharing about what's happening in my soul. Yeah, sharing honestly, vulnerably. Also, yeah, I made a series of videos maybe like a month ago, memoirs of a sadness repressor, when I was starting to really have the courage and openness to share things that I don't have it together, and sharing deep sadness and grief. And yeah, so that was actually very helpful. So I haven't continued that series for some time, so this is like as a way to follow up on that, where I'm at with this repression work. Also, I do want to tie in some of the people that I know, we are friends on the path, or some of the people I work with you as a facilitator, as a therapist. You had some question for me, so I want to tie in this question as well. And also, yeah, it's for me to put myself out there. And I'm pretty sure that I'm not unique with the type of struggle or the type of inner turmoil, So yeah, so one question that somebody asked me recently, and this person is really, we have a lot of similarities. Basically, we've been devoted to awakening, spiritual teachings for a long time. We both resonated with this kind of one-pointedness of going for enlightenment and pursuing awareness teachings like Eckhart Tolle, non-duality, comfortable with awareness and consciousness. And having, like me, part of our pain body was, and part of resistance, my ego resistance is, and every ego basically is resisting feeling. I come to see after decades and decades on the spiritual path that it comes down to changing my attitude, and changing my ability, and enhancing my ability to allow these emotional energies, whatever that is, it seems like it comes down to allowing them. Anyway, so coming back on topic here, this person who has a similar makeup with me, meaning that something happened that was very devastatingly sad in their childhood. And as a child, we adapted, and maybe there were programs, conditions to not feel the sadness, to not feel the loss, to not feel the death of the loved one, to not feel that because it was too much. Maybe people in our life, they were already running this program of sadness, grief, loss, repression. So somebody asked me this question, like, hey man, now that you are doing all this work, and how are you with enlightenment, man? How are you still thinking about enlightenment? Are you still meditating with this sense of, man, it's not here, and this enlightenment is eluding me, and I want it, and I'm still thinking about it? Or yeah, so this person was sharing with me that they are now getting into more comfortable doing emotional work. What I mean by that, no longer resisting. And when we no longer resist current stuff, then all the past, the reservoir of stuff are coming up. And in spite of the fact that he's doing this kind of work, he's asking me, he's curious, how am I aligned alongside this pursuit of enlightenment? And yeah, so I want to answer this here a little bit. Also, I engaged in some very skillful psychedelic work. Me as on the receiving end, done a few ayahuascas, and you know, I am totally in integral kind of guy. I find it that it's useful to do qigong, to do tai chi, breath work, cold shower, meditate, self-inquire, do KI, do more KI, serious killer inquiry, do somatic processing, and do some big mushroom journey, or 5-MeO or ayahuasca. So I found in my path that if my intention is correct, then which is that all these things can be helpful. Yeah, none of them was going to fix anything. None of it is going to be the ultimate pill. Ultimate thing I'm doing, this teacher, this satsang, this workshop, this ayahuasca, this breath work, none of it is going to fix me or make it all good, but somehow my soul's yearning for the truth, for connection, reconnecting consciously with the divine, for healing, for whatever we call it, that is going to, and the more we stay with that, the more we are honest and sincere and realize our own powerlessness to even fix ourselves and transcend lifelong patterns, the more and the more that fire that grows, that fire of the searching or of the spiritual warrior going 100%, that is going to attract the right person, the right facilitator, the right workshop, the right shaman, and it can all be useful. Yeah. So let's say, man, let's see what I can say now with this long intro. In relation to the previous share with the sadness repression and all of that. So basically, I am proud to say that I am no longer repressing sadness and grief. And I'm deeply super grateful for the teachings from Scott Killaby that illuminate this. Hey, you guys, we have repressed a lifetime of things. Super grateful to Lester Levenson's teachings. They were talking on that, and other people, although I didn't quite get it. And in spite of hearing Lester Levenson talk about this and David Hawkins, I continue to, the repression and suppression continued hiding underneath Enlightenment pursuit. Anyway, so basically I have been allowing and feeling deep feelings of sadness and loss and heart-crushing, soul-crushing devastation of sadness and of grief. And then I discovered other things there. I discovered fear. There's the fear, this deep fear. Deep fear of feeling the sadness and the grief. And so if I can say, I'm grateful for this current life stressor, life trigger that evoked this sadness, loss, grief, because I engage with this, what Scott Killaby would call third dimension tools and practices of bringing awareness to the mechanism of repression, undoing repression, and underneath there is our trauma. So I repressed and suppressed because there was just terrible things for child consciousness. So I have been every day for weeks now, maybe 2 months, every day in the morning or in the night, allocating some time to feel and allow what's within consciousness. And what was in consciousness was a deep sense of sadness, a deep sense of loss, a deep sense of fear of losing connection, fear of losing a person, deep sense of fear of feeling this deeply. However, due to, I guess, the fact that I'm tired of the shit of avoiding feelings, and with the understanding that that's where the spiritual rubber meets the road, and also lucky with these teachings and like the KI and other teachings, maybe connected with Adidas teaching and Satyama. It's a teacher that I grew to respect a lot and found very useful. The wound of love, where the focus is not so much to transcend, but once the realization of my that there is presence and that is what I am, as I'm deepening into that, as this is deepening, the focus shifts into feeling everything, to not taking refuge in the witness away from feelings, but to feel consciously, fully and spaciously this lifelong of pure, for me, it's more like fear, sadness, loss, grief. For other people could be anger, other stuff. So yeah, so basically I felt like I have gone much further than ever before with this. Before I would go through phases of having something like this coming up, but then I would identify with that and land there and bounce out, trying to alleviate, trying to go for a substance or to go for a relationship and to no longer feel that. So I got help. I got help, man. When we are willing to start feeling all of this, it is helpful to get support. So I get some good, skillful session from time to time with a wonderful facilitator I respect from KI, Darby, no secret. It's awesome. You'll be lucky to work with her, Darby from KI. Although, I know there are awesome, deep facilitators in KI. All of them would have done it. I have also, Scott is talking about peer support. Not just facilitator, but to have some friend on the path that you trust, you can be fully real. Sometimes, as I was going through the states of the sadness not being repressed anymore, it will come, and the tools, intentional rapid fire, or all of this not resisting and frozen fear inquiry, all the repression tools I was using every day. And now what will happen is that it's coming, man. It's coming, and I'm sad, and I miss this, and I long, and I'm sad, and I'm alone, and so it started to flow. And as I use the tools, what I noticed also is that it's easier to allocate time to go into the feelings, to allow them more and more. It's easier to do that rather than what I used to do all my life, avoid, distract, even with awakening teaching, with self-inquiry, guided meditation, YouTube, non-duality, avoid, distract. So let's see. Yeah, I went further than ever, and now these are coming. Yeah, all right. My point was that if I don't allocate time, and if somehow it happened to be busy, or I can't wake early enough or something, then I notice that it gets like stuck on my pipes. It is getting, and I feel some weird state of wrong energy that basically it tells me that, dude, we need, is a demand of meeting this exile parts of myself, as they say. no longer refuse this, So and when I make time, an appointment with this, then actually it flows now from tensions and energies into tears and tears and tears. And then what I noticed is started to go into sounds and into wailing and moaning and out loud, deep wailing, which breaks into deep sobbing and more wailing. Initially it was scary to allow that. I would stop myself, and then I felt like the need, man, I need somebody to be here with me. But since there was nobody there, I used this peer support I had somebody, a friend that I could just record this. It's like, hey, I'm in deep pain, I'm recording this, and I want you to receive it. Just that fact that somebody will receive it later, that helped me. And so I had a few, maybe 5 or 6 deep, going into this deep wailing and deep sobbing and sobbing and sobbing and crying, and like, which I could see it goes beyond the current loss of partner. It goes into all the losses, and I have a feeling it's not even in this lifetime. I have a feeling that also I have some past life experiences where, anyway, there was some deep loss that in that lifetime, it was soul crushing. Basically, I couldn't recover from it. And just wandered in deep pain, unresolved pain for decades. And anyway, I have a sense that this loss and grief, which is embedded in the existence here, it's old, very old. And yeah, I'm watching the time because I barely got to get into it, but I think I may do another part. So basically, it's going very well. It is going very well. And I'm very proud that I changed my, whatever. I'm content, spiritually content that I increased my capacity to allow these painful things. And, I'm not like crying all day. No, this is happening 7 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. And then it's like, it flows off. And then I'm like really present. And then I find juice of life and full of creativity and full of juice, man. And then, yeah, I feel like that's Rumi would say, suffering is like being washed by God. My heart being washed open by allowing these feelings. So don't pity me or something like that. I'm talking as you, all of us, we have this incredible amount of suppressed emotional material, and it is going well. There's more there. And I want to share more some of my discoveries, because this actually sadness repression and loss repression and fear repression, it's not possible to feel love fully. It's not possible to feel and allow someone to love me, or for me to love fully someone, or to love fully existence, if I am rejecting these exiled parts of myself that are core. So I started to realize that there's a sadness repression, and there is a love repression, and there's a joy repression. They're all connected. And actually, one thing that I will talk a little later, because I'm supposed to start my group very soon, is about God repression. God repression. And I know it's not very popular in non-duality, and I myself know when somebody would ask me or talk about God, I would be uncomfortable and squirm. And I would say things like other people, I hear people say, well, I don't know, whatever that is supposed to mean. There's presence, there's this awareness, it's just awareness, emptiness. And I'm like, after going through this experience lately, I can see it's such a big bullshit, this thing. Somehow the God, what do you mean what that is supposed to mean? That is supposed to mean is our true creator, the creator that created this body and this mind and this consciousness that created the ability to experience life and created this computer and created that which is aware of this right now. So that is an important part of the equation. And I could see in myself that the resistance and the fear and the rejecting of these painful parts of myself, I have inadvertently reject active felt connection with the creator. So I realized lately, I'm going to talk a little bit later about this, that in spite of having been dedicated to a spiritual path for so many years, I didn't trust God. And that is a big cap on any spiritual endeavor and ability to love and heal. So anyway, so coming back to, and I can see that the allowing of this, allowing this pain and this grief and loss, that's not a mistake. That is a medicine from my creator, from my heart. So taking this medicine, what non-duality speaks about becomes more evident, actually, by allowing all the pain and the sadness and the fear and making sacred date with them. This allows me to be able to perceive more and more everything as the divine, and definitely increase the ability to no longer repress God and repress love, because it's such a pity. And so coming back to my friend who is asking me, what about enlightenment? Also, Scott Kilby asked me, like, hey, have you noticed that since you're doing more repression work, you are less interested in this non-duality? And even then, months and months ago, I was like, yeah, man, I am less and less interested in sitting and in order to attain a special state, in order to, I don't know, that dropped a lot. Also, it dropped because I do have a clear, deep understanding that, hey, this is, I'm here. I am that which is aware. Hang on. Hang on. So I need to finish this thing. So about this guy, yeah, I'm not thinking so much about enlightenment in that way. My pursuit of enlightenment was, I could see it was driven out of a noble place, but also the pursuit of enlightenment was coming out of not wanting to feel this. And actually part of the enlightenment and part of the being okay and in harmony with all that is and seeing, I think true enlightenment is to see the face of God everywhere you look, outside and inside. Yeah. So the way to go about that is to do emotional work. Yeah. I mean, of course, if your mind is busy and all of that, and you're not clear about the true identity, do that. Go. That's very important, sacred work. Who am I? Quieting the mind, remembering being as often as possible. But if that is somehow clear, the way to go is doing emotional work, no longer resisting all of this. Yeah. So I am not trying to, to escape in some special state to not feel this. I want to feel this, and I'm grateful that I got all the support and help to get to this point. Stay tuned, guys, because now I got to go. Ciao.